Hometown Debut by Jess Worsdale, read by Fergus Rattigan. Cian is a shiver of denim, with a plastic bag of canned good times. Deck chair stripped, it gouges heavy into his fingers, so they bulge white at the tips. Occasionally, some acquaintance of his mother cackles by, and comments on him breezily before re-emerging with the dregs of the central wine fridge. Along the street, a family, with kids unable for midnight, sets off New Year's fireworks early, and a crack of gold sparks spits the bite-cold evening, leaps over the brood hulk of suburbia. Rob is late, but for once Cian doesn't mind. Since the summer, he's coexisted with his bubbling anticipation, the simmer of it fizzing through his skin. A little longer. His mum had slipped him at 20 when she'd heard Cathy's son was home. "God love him," she said. "That lad deserves a good night. What's it been, 5 months now?" A scatter of messages from Rob since he left. Small grey suitcase in the belly of the air coach. One, a photo of the view from his halls, all tower angles and pigeon-pox sky. The others, splintered videos thumbing with unknown faces, picked out in silver glitter and brandishing lewd drinks. Caption, "You should come sometime." He reads it repeatedly, eyeballing white space between letters and speculating whether Rob's just being polite. His own video back would have been of cisterns, slip-joint pliers, a plate covered by another plate, discs of curdled gravy you could peel back with a fork. Cian has never been to London, but imagines it as one huge brick and steel monster, huffing hungry breath up escalators and through sour tunnels deep in plague-pit dirt and bone. So even though the party's not far, the drive there will be something. They'll take looping back roads, and he'll pop his feet on the dashboard and fill the car with, just a band I caught at Workman's a few weeks back, experimental. You've not heard of them. Not fully a lie. He would have gone if anyone had asked. Rob will talk about college in England and say it's fine but it's not the same. They'll skip the party to drink cans at the beach, throw pebbles at the empties like they used to. He gets a flushed and queasy feeling just thinking about it. But when the battered Corsa swings into view, it's not just his friend in the car. It's barely stopped moving, and the girl has the passenger door open, glides herself out and clamps him in a one-way hug. The famous Cian. She's heron sleek, with a fanfare mouth and the expansive manner of someone whose place in the world has never been challenged. Behind her, Rob crouches half in, half out the car door, taking great interest in the pavement. He seems sharper, as if the new city face has no time for the inefficiencies of emotion. Features contorted from the sharing the air with thousands of harried strangers, the spit and choke of their lungs circulating directly back into yours. Slouching across the back seat, Cian watches squat houses and tree trunks flashing like Morse code. Fat smears of moss line the bottom of the windows, and there's a corpse-sweet smell of wet soil and rot. Rob's mum's Cathy's car, then, left to fester undriven. Chloe is non-stop noise. She booked a last-minute flight, not told anyone until she was belted in, exit row, and expecting an airport meet-cute. Totally spontaneous, but that's so me, she says, and I've never been to Southern Ireland before. With pearl nails tight on Rob's left thigh, she wiggles contentedly and gazes out the bird-pocked windscreen at the salt-bruised seafront, at the derelict hotel. So romantic. Falter Ireland's wet dream you are. Staying long? The second. Don't want to impose on Rob's dad. We're flying back together. There'll be no time then. Cian stares resolutely ahead, fixed on the breadcrumb trail of cat's eyes along the unspooling road. Dad doesn't mind, says Rob. I doubt he really notices, to be honest. The whole town knows about Tom. They sigh about him in the pension queues and dally when they pass the house. A terrible thing, they croon. A terrible, terrible thing. They are no longer certain to which thing they're referring. The earthquake or the aftershock. Everyone has heard the story. Wall stacks of newspaper encrust every room in small squeaks and itchings. The kitchen furred with dirty plates. Neighbours drop in mawkish casseroles, which, it's rumoured, Tom decants into Tupperware, labelled with descriptions of whoever has made them. Evenings tallied by defrosted lucky dips, marked with the hair or teeth. Rob does not know this. Or maybe he does. When he left, he slammed a shutter on everything. The party is at Moira's. Her parents work in tax assurance, exchanging finite hours of existence for dragon hoards of cash, and an annual apportioned 22 days in which to create meaningful experiences. They forgot she snuck the spare key, and, as their Thailand glow flakes away, are set for an unsettling January, cluedoing mysterious breakages and suspected poltergeists. Chloe is armed with airport gin and a paper bag of limes, and the kitchen swallows her as soon as they arrive. Rob takes their coats upstairs and Cian pads after him, leaving the tepid cans by the heap of bags in the hall. The sunset glow of the streetlight makes shadow puppets of the furniture and the cairn of coats on the bed. He wipes his hands down his shirt, trying to work out the crease of his mom's iron. Through the floor, he can hear Chloe introducing herself to everyone. You didn't mention a girlfriend. I never said she was. Rob starts picking up and replacing the various tubes and beauty items on the dresser, arranging them so they descend in height order. And she'd agree with that view, would she? We don't do labels. Ooh la la, how very modern. Look, Dad likes her, okay? Said he can't stop worrying about me. Nice girl. Might help. It's what he wants. Carpeted, Cian takes a steady half step towards him, as if approaching a nervous horse. And is it what you want? A drowsy buzz of sun-brewed summer flickers between them. Rememberings of heat and sand-worn cotton, sour-tongued chips and wheeling gulls. Cian, There's a loud pounding of feet and 3 girls barrel into the room, slowing jackets like reptilian scales to reveal beetle-jeweled colours beneath. Oh, lads, don't mind us disturbing you. You work away there. Don't get it on the coat's mind. Very funny, says Rob. The girls heave laughter and clutch each other and trip down the stairs with naggins tucked in tight waistbands. Rob takes a determined inhale and follows them. Chloe stands encircled by an orchestra of people, conducting conversation with a shot glass waved about imperiously. She shimmies across the lino to seize Rob in a move star smooch under the kitchen strip light. Caught off guard, he moves his arms uncertain through the air, then settles them around each bare shoulder blade. Their bodies look so neat and beautiful together, like clean teaspoons stacked in a drawer. The hormone mob hoots delight. Cian recognises most of them from school. The ones at college in Dublin are broadly the same, perhaps augmented with a confrontational hairstyle. They stand in cliques looking self-consciously edgy and making brazen noises about socialism. Others have moved away and taken the opportunity to construct an entirely new personality, now making its Bambi-legged hometown debut, swathed in velvet and bewildering eyeliner. He himself is unchanged, essentially an embarrassing continuation of the person he was in school. He spends a long time sliding up to conversations and trying to smile his way into them until it becomes apparent he has no controversial opinions to trade. Then he does a circuit of the houses, holding 2 drinks and looking around studiously as if searching for someone, downs one of them and starts the process again. This is the party that slips into teenage folklore. That with necromancer sleight of hand will be reanimated round pub tables from a pulpy mass of swollen pupils, clicking jaws on glass cheeks. Bottles pass fist to fist, necks sticky from yammering mouths, and they drink out of bowls and pans when the glasses are gone. 3 girls black out in the yard, and stay there unnoticed until hard blue sky and icy concrete rap at their skulls. And at the howling heart of it is Chloe, now in a tactile gaggle, salting margaritas, now staccatoing punchlines through a careless cigarette haze, now getting the door to more bodies who pour into the hallway and brush off Rob's introductions. Sure, I met her already. Some woman. Sickening, says Cian, lurching into Snackbox Larry, who exudes the linger of a fry not quite masked by panic spray links. They've been backed into the alcove by the kitchen bins and the back door, the cupboard full of pegs, bags of life, and empty margarine tubs. Look at her there. No, listen. Who does she think she is? All over him, just turned up like that. He takes one long swig of his empty can, and Snacker sees his chance and mumbles, "Another," and lumbers away into the human soup that broils around them. The whole house is thrumming with blurred sound and paled ovals that swell about the gin with shining teeth. Maybe this is life from now on. Tonight is just the trailer, existing behind a wall of thick glass, clammy with desperate handprints. The people he knows escaping to worlds beyond his reach. Until one day he realizes that eternity is just him, and his mom, and dinner in the warming drawer. The puce mass in front of him spins kaleidoscope triangles. They accumulate to form Rob's face right there. And he raises one arm in clumsy surprise, grating of stubble on his palm. "All right, Cian," says Rob, stepping back quickly. Chloe was right then. He's loud with her name, now pleased with himself and his conclusive ability to attract blandy popular foreign girls. "The famous Cian, yeah, that's me. Bono without sunnies. Handy with the basin wrench." "What?" "She said you might need looking in on. Here." Rob passes him a pint of water, filmy with crisp grease fingerprints. What kind of person brings their own limes to parties anyway? The water is tepid and swimming with crumbs, but he drinks it, glad of something to occupy his hands. Rob is still standing there, watching. He is very aware that through the glass his open mouth must be horribly distorted, like a thick-lipped carp. He wiped his sleeve across his face. "What?" "We're leaving soon," says Rob. "Are you all right to make your own way back?" "Fine, yeah." He kicks at the bin, gnarly toe poking through the hole in his runner. "You're being so weird. Are you jealous or something?" "Of you? No." "Of her." His insides jolt. A great writhing eel churning through his guts. A few jagged breaths. Then he grapples for the yard door and pulls Rob through it. Outside, the night air is brittle, as if he could grasp it and snap it apart. On the concrete, a fox has disemboweled a rubbish bag, spewing chicken trays and puckered orange peels, now tingling with frost. The throaty drift of peat smoke, and under every chimney are people that belong there. Inside, someone yells, 1 minute! They're standing so close now, in the dark and the cold. What would it take? 1 step? 2? Burnished, hot, slow silence, and Rob's gaze feels like a physical pressure on his face. He closes the door behind them, mutes the midnight countdown. The heart-wrench flash and crack of sparks. This could be the start or end of everything. But at least it's real.